These modern productions are all very well, but there's nothing to equal from what I heard.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're discussing the key to any musical's journey from stage to screen, maintaining the Broadway sound.
It's a weighty responsibility.
Let's talk process.
From Back to the Future to The Notebook to Moulin Rouge, people often ask why so many Broadway musicals are based on popular films. The answer is the same reason why a Hollywood studio won't greenlight a movie musical unless it's a hit on Broadway first.
Money, 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 get a little money, 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 Marcayenne, buck for a bounce, that clinking, clanking, clunking sound is all that makes the world go round. It makes the world go round.
Brand recognition is everything, at least to those bankrolling the project. Just because a musical is a success on stage doesn't necessarily mean it'll have the same impact in movie theaters, though.
Oh, stop! That insufferable droning is drowning out my words. Can we please just stick to a little decorative piano?
Once Hollywood gets involved, it's no longer a Broadway production. As such, what made the show special on stage can get lost in translation. Nowhere was this more apparent than in the adaptation that nearly killed the movie musical, 2019's Cats.
Right, well that's not going to work, is it? Okay?
Much has been said about where this catastrophe went wrong. The unfinished visual effects, Tom Hooper's misguided direction, and the already difficult-to-adapt source material all contributed. What people don't discuss as much, however, is the miscasting.
I judge a cat by its soul.
He's got soul.
I've got plenty of soul.
That might sound odd considering that Cats assembles A-listers like Ian McKellen and Judi Dench. Great actors, but none of them possess the Broadway sound that this material requires.
But how would you address a cat?
Sure, the cast also includes seasoned singers like Taylor Swift and Jason Derulo, although their voices are an afterthought compared to the distracting sexual energy they bring to their respective roles. The only one who hits it out of the park is Jennifer Hudson, but even then, her powerful rendition of Memory is drowned out by uncomfortable CGI. When it comes to movie musicals, Hollywood is infamous for casting recognizable stars, whether they can sing or not. Thus, we get Gerard Butler in The Phantom of the Opera, Russell Crowe in Les Miserables, and Clint Eastwood in Paint Your Wagon.
But suddenly my words reach someone else's ear.
During cinema's golden age, it wasn't uncommon for studios to hire ghost singers. Audrey Hepburn had the star power to attract newcomers to My Fair Lady, although for showstoppers like I Could Have Danced All Night, Warner Brothers enlisted Marni Nixon to sing.
I could have danced all night. I could have danced all night.
Some believe that dubbing caused Hepburn to miss out on an Oscar nomination. Ironically, Best Actress went to Julie Andrews, who originated Eliza Doolittle on stage, but wasn't a big enough name for WB. She instead brought the Broadway sound to Mary Poppins.
Just a spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down in a most delightful way.
The best movie musicals are usually the ones that bring Broadway talent to the screen. Not long after Cats, we got two of the best modern movie musicals with In the Heights and West Side Story.
I think I go back to San Juan.
I know about you can get on. Bye-bye.
Everyone there will give big cheer.
Everyone there would have moved here.
A few Hollywood names aside, both films populated their casts with stage stars like Anthony Ramos, Ariana DeBose, Mike Feist, and Olga Meredith, to name a few. They also took advantage of the film medium with atmospheric cinematography and editing immersing the audience in ways that a stage show can't.
I'm for the neighbors, everything's fine, everything's cool. Standard reply, lots of tests, lots of papers, smile, wave goodbye, and pray to the sky.
They achieved the ideal balance with the Broadway sound and a cinematic touch. Unfortunately, nobody showed up to either, be it due to residual ill will from Cats, the COVID-19 pandemic, or audiences opting to wait for streaming.
Gee, Officer Krupke were very upset. We never had the love that every child ought to get.
That said, Netflix delivered two high-profile movie musicals during the pandemic, one that did everything right and another that did everything wrong. When people say that they don't think movie musicals work, Ryan Murphy's The Prom comes to mind.
One thing you've taught me is how much people enjoy a show, and so you've got me debating how this whole night should go.
With oversaturated colors, over-the-top performances, and an over-reliance on camp, this is about as stereotypical as musicals get. Not as stereotypical as James Corden's portrayal of a gay man, however.
Barry Glickman's FDR might just be the most insultingly misguided, offensive, and laughable performance that this reviewer has ever had the squirming misfortune to endure.
As for the rest of the cast, some actors managed to bring the Broadway sound, like Andrew Rannells, yet bigger names like Meryl Streep and Nicole Kidman are just passable. And why settle for passable when we can have the 150% that Broadway actors need to deliver 6 days a week on average?
But it's not about me, it's about poor Emma Ford. Can't you see the raw deal she's been dealt?
Conversely, you have Tick, Tick, Boom, a who's who of Broadway royalty. Even those who haven't performed on Broadway, such as Alexandra Shipp, have the chops to hold their own against Andrew Garfield.
Come to your senses, defenses are not the way to go when you know, or at least you knew.
Speaking of which, casting doesn't get much more perfect than Garfield as Jonathan Larson, possessing the look, the charisma, and the voice to do the late legend justice. The fact that Garfield is iconic to movie audiences and Broadway audiences also builds a bridge.
This is the life. This is the life. Bo, 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 bo. This is the life. Bo, 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 bo. This is the life. Bo, 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 bo. Bohemia.
Casting aside, director Lin-Manuel Miranda understood that for the source material to work as a movie, some changes needed to be made. Tick, Tick, Boom thus functions as an adaptation of the musical and a Jonathan Larson biopic, again finding the balance between Broadway and Hollywood.
Fear or love, baby, don't say the answer. Actions speak louder than words.
It was a better Jonathan Larson adaptation than 2005's Rent, which cut out much of the musical songs in favor of generic dialogue. Maybe the filmmakers assumed that movie audiences weren't ready for a sung-through musical, but the results satisfied nobody.
She's in denial. He's in denial.
Guys.
Didn't give an inch when I gave her mine.
While some fans appreciated seeing 6 of the original Broadway cast members return, they all appeared a little too old to still play these characters. Poor Ben Platt ran into the same problem when he reprised his role as Evan Hansen.
Can anybody see? Is anybody waving back at me?
It goes to show that bringing back Broadway cast members isn't always the key to a successful movie musical. The same year Rent got the movie musical treatment, Nathan Lane and Matthew Broderick revisited the producers.
We can do it, we can do it, and I know it's gonna work.
That film didn't have the age problem that proved off-putting in Rent, but it didn't bring anything new to the material. It even enlisted the same director as the Broadway show, Susan Stroman. Between Mel Brooks's 1967 film and the stage musical, this movie musical gave us more of the same.
My bloom goes so far, camera right?
Live-action Disney musicals generally suffer from similar issues. It doesn't help when you replace Paige O'Hara with somebody who can't sing like Emma Watson.
And for once it might be grand to have someone understand.
Granted, Disney has injected more of a Broadway sound into their live-action remakes with Naomi Scott as Jasmine and Halle Bailey as Ariel. Again, though, those remakes have to compete with animated alternatives that possess superior pacing and visuals, in addition to being more innovative.
The seaweed is always greener in somebody else's lake. You dream about going up there, but that is a big mistake.
It's a tricky juggling act, functioning as a film that preserves the Broadway sound while threading the needle between familiar and fresh. Yet we've seen it done in Hairspray, Chicago, and The Color Purple. Alas, a lot of movie musicals not only remain afraid of the Broadway sound, but are afraid to market themselves as musicals.
Allow me to refresh your memory.
Oh, I don't think I want to hear that.
Too late. I've started dancing now. Once we've started, we can't stop.
While we can't say we approve of false advertising, this tactic is seemingly working with Wonka and Mean Girls being hits. Audiences were especially surprised to learn Mean Girls was a musical.
Are you trying to make the rest of us feel dumb?
I'm not trying to, it's just happening.
Apparently, the musical note in the logo wasn't a giveaway. On a narrative level, the new Mean Girls doesn't do much to distinguish itself from the 2004 film, although the songs and casting justify its existence.
Oh, that's how you use it. Slay, queens.
Directors Samantha Jane and Arturo Perez Jr. capture the spirit of the stage musical while embracing the new possibilities that cinema offers, incorporating tracking shots and social media filters. While the film brings back recognizable talent like Tina Fey, the songs are entrusted to experienced singers like Ali Carvalho, Jaquel Spivey, and Renee Rapp, the latter of whom had her Broadway run as Regina George cut short by the pandemic.
Hey, Katie, how you like me
Star and Gowrie Rice might not have a Broadway belt, but considering that Katie is a reserve protagonist, her limited vocal range suits the character. It might not be among the all-time greats, but the film ultimately understands why people like musicals, even if the studio was afraid to market it as one.
What is going on?
Don't worry about it. Dance break.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Among the film's standout numbers is Carvalho's rendition of I'd Rather Be Me, which encourages people to be themselves and not change for the sake of those they don't even like.
What's true is being me, and I'd rather be me. I'd rather be me.
This lesson can also be applied to adapting musicals for the screen. Some changes are inevitable, but they shouldn't come at the expense of alienating musical fans in favor of mainstream moviegoers who won't realize what they've been missing until they've finally experienced that Broadway sound. Which movie musical do you think best encompasses the Broadway sound? Let us know in the comments.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.